Okay, we got to come out honest with you guys watching this video. There is a real lack of buzz surrounding TNA right now, and the shows are getting quite unbearable, and I no longer look forward to watching the TNA shows anymore. Ever since Bound for Glory, I have not liked the direction they've been going in, and I have to be honest, the shows right now are unbearable, and I know you feel the same way about me.
For many, many weeks now, I've been saying that, yes, you can all bash WWE, blah, blah, but TNA right now, I've said this since they started killing the Ace and Eight, I've not had one thing I've been looking forward to for Thursday nights. There's not a feud, a storyline anymore, or a match, or something like that that's really keep my interest to the next week.
No, and to be honest with you, I totally echo your thoughts. I am just not looking forward to a TNA Impact show anymore. And if you'd asked me this question 6 months ago, I'd have been saying I'm really looking forward to Impact. I love the TNA Impact product. But lately, the storylines just haven't been for me. A lot of the characters seem to have dwindled down. The matches are just not as good, in my opinion. The segments aren't as interesting. The writing, it just seems to me like TNA have gone in a whole totally different direction, brother, and have started appealing more to probably casual fans than maybe fans such as ourselves. But the product right now, I'm sorry, is just unbearable.
The thing is that TNA, I'm going to make a little joke here, TNA were promoting the 5-hour energy. Well, let me just say this. I bought a can of Pepsi for us each, but instead of having a can of Pepsi, I said, nah, I'm going to have a coffee, I need something stronger. Because to be honest, yes, there was good things about this show. I'm not going to bash it completely. But overall, I just don't think the interest is as strong as it should be.
But it's like you said, isn't it? People can bash WWE about, their kiddie-friendly product, and we're not even watching that show right now. That's how bad that show is. We're at least giving this show an opportunity. It's just that the show right now we're watching, we don't feel is very good, and it's just not exciting. It really isn't. I mean, you look at this show. The whole show was designed around Sting returning to get the Aces and Eights, a faction who over the last couple of months have been booked to look like no threat, and they pretty much just had all the storylines up on hold over the holidays until this big TV show. We needed some Genesis hype on this show. We're 2 weeks before this big pay-per-view for TNA, the one before lockdown in March, and we've got no matches announced for it yet. And yeah, do you want to, basically in this review, we're just going to gloss through all the sort of irrelevant stuff and talk a lot about the relevant stuff, i.e. the Sting return, the Ace and Eight storyline, etc. We do want to announce something though. We're going to be doing a live stream tomorrow. It's going to be mainly Royal Rumble / 20th anniversary of Raw / Genesis based. So if you want to tune in for that, it's going to be 10 p.m. till 12 midnight GMT tomorrow. We're going to do that instead of our British Fist Wrestling Rundown video because we don't really have that many topics to talk about this week.
No, we've gone through the SmackDown spoilers because we don't watch it live or when it comes on in the UK. There's no to it, no big talking points either show, apart from what we've just said now, how TNA's declining, but we'll talk about that throughout this video.
Yeah, leave your thoughts and comments down below on how you're feeling about TNA's direction right now, and give us your thoughts. We'd love to hear your thoughts on this show and the whole Sting return, the Aces and Eight storyline. We just want to see if people echo us on this storyline, and this may get us hate, but I'm sorry, we've just got to be honest here.
But now we're going to give the good and the bad and the ugly of this show.
There's plenty of bad and ugly, that's all I can say. We open up the show with the Impact Wrestling Superstar of the Year award, as voted by the fans. Yes, that's right. As voted by the fans, and the winner was none other than Jeff Hardy. I'm not surprised. A lot of casual fans like Jeff Hardy, so I'm not really surprised.
No,
It was funny.
No. Dan, I'm going to have to disagree with you 100%. It was rigged. TNA are trying to make Jeff Hardy over, trying to get the fans behind him as much as they can. That's why they gave him the belt. They gave him the TNA thing. It would have been Aries by miles. They rigged this.
Unfortunately, the casual audiences do speak above hardcore fan audiences such as yourself. It was funny how us and Aries and Rude were both thinking they'd won the award before the announcement, and Jeff Hardy gets it. And this whole segment was designed to get this triple threat at Genesis match finally announced, because they've been teasing it for such a long time. We finally have our main event of Genesis announced 2 weeks before the damn pay-per-view. Aries thinks the vote was rigged. You think the vote was rigged. Apparently, Aries has averaged over 4 stars per pay-per-view match. Apparently, he has been looking on the internet. He should be looking at this review, because we love Austin Aries here at the British Fist. And Hardy ends the segment on top again, despite being outnumbered by 2 heels, therefore not giving them any damn heel heat in much what felt like a WWE booked opening segment. That's all I'm going to say.
I'm glad we've seen the interaction of the heels and Hyde at the match, in other words, the 3 of them. It was very good there, but Jeff Hardy wins. Share me your thoughts on Jeff Hardy. Hardy winning in the competition below.
Yeah, it should be a good match, though, I guess. In the next segment, we have Daniels imitating James Storm's accent backstage, and it leads to a match between James Storm and Kazarian. Pretty simple here. James Storm beats Kazarian after knocking Daniels off the apron and hitting the top rope superkick on Kaz. The match lasted about 4 minutes. James Storm versus Daniels at Genesis, but my question is, do you care?
After last week, I didn't see this feud actually happening because they look like they pulled away from that and had Storm doing other things, but they're bringing it back now. And yes, it's so different than AJ, so I say give this match a go. But Kazarian getting the pin, not surprised.
Do you still think this is all going to lead to another Daniels-AJ match somewhere down the line? Because I hope it does not.
Yes.
One of the biggest buzzkills of this show and TNA's product right now is the Aces and Eights storyline. It is a massive buzzkill, and TNA booking Anderson in the group, do they really think that's going to do anything for the group?
I want to give a little rant about Anderson in the main event.
Fair enough, we'll save it for then. They went to have a promo by Doc, aka Luke Gallows, where he calls out Sting, and the baseball bat lands in the ring, and Doc reacts kind of scared, and while he's reacting, in the middle of that, we go to commercial.
The thing about this is that this didn't really do anything, and it's like Sting could have came out and had a little fight with him because he was the target, like Doc pointed out, but nothing really happened, and he kept calling out Sting. Sting didn't come, bit of a boring segment.
It was all about hyping up Sting's return, which we all know was going to happen in the main event, let's face it. We have an X Division Championship tournament, by the way. You know, no build to the X Division Championship, and we kind of get this now at the last minute. Kid Cash versus Christian York. Kid Cash got no entrance, so we knew who was winning this one, and Christian York wins pretty quickly. It was a pretty sloppy match, though. There were a few clunky moments in there.
The only thing I'll say about this, I'm not really going to talk about the match, I'm going to talk about this tournament. The thing is, every year, TNA have to do something to get the X Division going, because once it gets going, it dies out once the thing's finished.
Yes.
It comes back, it goes again. So to be honest, yes, X Division fans can enjoy this, but it'll probably die and have to come back again a few months again.
I think it's just a lack of roster that the X Division has right now. Apparently, we're going to get Kenny King versus Zema Ion next week, and the final in the X Division Championship match is going to happen at Genesis. I expect it fully to be King versus Christian York for that spot. We had Ryan and Morgan versus Los Stereotypicos announced for Genesis. Are you really interested in Los Stereotypicos as the tag champs or any kind of feud involving them right now? They're just boring.
It's not just them. I'm glad to see Chavo in the ring and all that. I'm going to compliment that week after week after week. But the Morgan thing, I'm still waiting for him to progress to a bigger storyline and wrapped up in this. So I'm more leaning towards, I want to see what comes from Morgan.
I do hope that Morgan at least springs from this and is put into the main event scene at some point down the line. I really do think they're missing out with Matt Morgan. Matt Morgan comes out with his arm in a cast, and we're sitting there thinking, bloody hell happened to Matt Morgan? But then we find out that it's pretty much used as a device to distract those stereotypicos and take them both out single-handedly, as Matt Morgan should be doing.
That was the good spot of this. Yes, they've taken up that, setting a statement for the match later on, but this, I thought, was good for Matt Morgan more than Joey Ryan.
Indeed. Hulk Hogan returned after, 1 week in a segment, and he brings down Bully Ray and Brooke Hogan to the ring. There was no winning here in this segment. Hogan asks Bully Ray why he tries to get his respect, and basically Hogan says that Bully broke the code, and because of that, he and Brooke are suspended. So that's you know, a GM that suspends one of his most entertaining characters, you know he's a little bit senile and disillusioned, don't you?
The thing about this is that Jason haven't been properly built up, but he's been on the video packages, so I think there's going to be something more from Bully Ray, something big here. But this segment, the whole storyline is stupid. It's not as bad as the Claire Lynch, but it could be leaning that way. I didn't think it was good. The only good thing about it was the fact it got Bully Ray on TV somehow, and
yeah, the only good thing about it is Bully Ray, and it is one of those storylines on TNA where you're just like, oh, for God's sake, why are they doing this? This is so a casual audience storyline. Joseph Park had a training vignette, and apparently Joseph Park has been at OVW night and day, and all of a sudden, out of nowhere, things are going well, and he's ready to get in the ring. I expected these video packages to go on a little bit longer. It's like he's all of a sudden got better to get in the ring after like a week. Last week he was struggling. This week he's fine. What?
Two things about this. Joseph Park didn't really need this wrestling training because he beat Bully Ray, he beat the Ace and Eight. So this is just for the fans who want to see more of Joseph Parks. Gets him on TV. There we go. The second thing is, after all this training, it's just going to be another way to bury the Ace and Eights.
Probably, but let's face it, at this point in time, we may as well just bury the Ace and Eights and get the storyline over with because that has been the major buzzkill. Gail Kim and Tara versus Mickie James and Miss Touchmark. Interesting fact about this. 11 total title reigns between these 4 knockouts. Pretty much says what you need to know about the knockouts division right now. We're just seeing the same people in the same spots. There are no new faces. And the knockouts division is stale. I'm sorry, it is stale. You've got Mickie James, Miss Touchmark, Tara and Gail Kim. And the knockouts division is stale. I'm sorry, it just is. This match went on way too long. Went about 12 minutes, including the commercial break. You know, Velvet Sky returned at some point and overshadowed the knockout title match at Filler Resolution. I call it Filler Resolution for a reason. And she hasn't been seen since. Why? Mickie James gets the pin, but who is the #1 contender? You know, did we learn anything new from this segment? Is that going to be Mickie James versus Tara, Velvet? What's going on with the knockouts division right now? Next week, apparently, we're going to get Rude and Aries versus Hardy and whoever he wants. So yeah, that big reveal should be a ratings pop thing, like maybe this week's maybe would be.
Somewhat of a match. I'm glad they still hype up next week, but next week is the most important show, especially before it goes to the pay-per-view.
I mean, it's a go-home show, and TNA have barely announced any matches for the damn pay-per-view. Just ridiculous.
And up to this point, I was tweeting, at least we have the main event to hopefully give us some interest to the rest of the show.
Yeah. Yeah, good tweet there, NJ. I'm sure you got retweeted many times on that one. Probably. Angle and Joe versus Aces and Eights in a cage match. Oh, God. If the Aces and Eights faction was so adamant about being unmasked, then why in the blue hell did they send out a masked guy in the match when they have Devon and Doc and Anderson, who are all unmasked and therefore cannot be revealed? No, where was the logic of sending the masked man out to wrestle? I was just stupid.
Storyline-wise, that was stupid, but bringing out the masked wrestlers to wrestle, at least it will get them unmasked quicker, get us to the point of this Ace and Eights faction and the big outcome.
Yeah, and guess what, guys? The Aces and Eights lose again. There's a reason why this faction isn't a threat anymore. It's because they keep losing! And they lost again! I mean, how many times do these guys have to lose?
They did the clever thing by keeping Angle out. That, I thought, was at least some interest. But then Samoa Joe, at the beginning of the match, he did dominate, and that took my interest away from the strength of the Ace and Eights.
Supposed to be booking this Ace and Eights faction as a strong faction, trying to cause havoc in TNA, yet Samoa Joe looks like he can beat them 2-on-1 in a cage match. And it's tornado rules, I'm just saying. So then we get to the big moment. We get the big brawl in the ring, the Ace and Eights come out, Sting comes in, takes out the faction single-handedly, and to be honest with you here, NJ, he may as well have done, because the faction is not a threat at all. They've lost pretty much every match they've been in. They haven't been a threat. They've had no direction. To me, and this may sound stupid, and it may make me sound like I'm high, but it makes every freaking logical sense that a 52, 53-year-old man can go in and take out that faction single-handedly because of the way they've been fucking booked.
The thing is, everyone was looking forward to Sting's return, but this return, there was like a big, loud crowd reaction.
There was nothing special.
Not like a spotlight come in. He comes in the ring, do what we all predict. The thing is, what I was hoping just went through, like Anderson. Here's my rank for Anderson. He was paid or introduced this to guard the ring. You saw the video or a camera watching Sting walk straight to the ring and take everyone out. And Anderson seemed to have disappeared after that. So to be honest, I thought the whole main event, is there one chance to have something big for the Ace and Eight, especially when it was Sting's return, and they blew it.
And Sting just walks in. There's no special entrance. There's no special anything. He just walks in to the cage and takes out the Aces and Eights. I mean, how unexciting a return was that? It got a little bit of a pop, but let's face it, at this point in time, Sting has been returned many, many times. They've done this so many times that it loses the effect of actually being some kind of special moment. Remember, 3-3-11, all the returns between them, and now, I mean, they reveal Mike Knox. Did you actually give a shit, apart from the fact that we're maybe one step closer to ending this freaking storyline that's bringing this show down big time?
Mike Knox, no one seemed to really care, because once the mask was off, nothing. You saw Angle going, yeah, I'll take the mask off, but there was just no reaction. Nothing really mattered to that part of the show.
Now, you've had all this build for the Ace and Eight storyline, and so far we've had Devon, we've had Mike Knox, and Luke Gallows. You know, they're the three people that have been revealed. Just saying. And this whole Sting return, it will be judged on whether or not it pops a rating. But at this point in time, the TNA, with their ratings being so low, they've averaged a 0.9 something this year, the lowest since 2006, I believe. I saw it on tnasylum.com where this video will be. But do they really think this is going to pop that much of a rating? You know, they haven't made this group a threat. They've lost all the time. Sting's returning again. You know...
Again! You fucking let me down! You lost a match again! You fucked up! Worthless mortals! The X-Nates are soon going to be finished!
Yeah, I'm done. You done? Overall, this show just... it didn't interest me. It was kind of boring. There were some good parts in it. I'm not going to say it was total shit, but the fact that the whole show was revolving around a 52, 53-year-old man to take out a faction that is no threat just left me with a real sour taste in my mouth. After all the months I've been watching of TNA has been a great product, it's now resorted to this.
Instead of me saying my bad parts of the show, I want you guys to tell me the good, the bad, and the ugly of this show, because to be honest, I was being quite tired through some of this just because nothing really stood out like an oh my god moment. This is a must-see feud, must-see moment. The X-Nates are failing. Sting's return failed. Anderson's TV appearance again failed. So there's not really much here.
Yeah, and there's just not much to look forward to on TNA Impact right now. Really, there isn't. The pay-per-view doesn't really seem that appealing as there's no matches been announced. Yes, anyway, leave us your thoughts in the comment section below. Please leave us your thoughts on, not just on this show, not just on Sting returning, not just on the Aces and X faction, but the whole damn product in general. Let us know what you feel about the product right now in the comment section below. Look forward to the live stream tomorrow where we'll be talking about the Royal Rumble. Find something exciting to talk about. The Royal Rumble kind of Genesis and Raw's 20th anniversary and the 7th of January show as well. That should at least be fun, unlike this show. NJ, would you like to give me an outro that could at least put a smile on my face, unlike this TNA show?
And from the great Mr. Parkin, who you can check on his channel, the links will be in the description below. And from me, NJ, just couldn't do it at the beginning. Basta! Until next time, YouTubers, thank you very much for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed this video and probably agree with us. And goodbye.